Welcome everyone back to Retro Wrestling Reviews. I am playing WWF Attitude. I'm in career mode as Mankind, and I've hit my first championship match after my big victory over Jerry Lawler and Val Venus last time. I am at my first pay-per-view in your house, and I'm challenging for the European Championship against Goldust. First time I've seen Goldust in this season mode. First championship match. Little icon there with the European title. I'm pretty excited. My first pay-per-view. Let's hit it. Let's do it. With this being my first pay-per-view and my first championship match, kind of feels like I have to watch the entrances, right? Give it a bit of grandeur. It's basically the Raw arena, but with this kind of purple in your house with the old blocky WWF logo kind of slapped up on the screen, which I love. I do love. That version of the WWF in your house logo, that was very like mid 90s, like 95, 96, which is when In Your House started as a pay-per-view series. And I do think with the color scheme and stuff, it looks a little bit like the Toy Story logo. Toy Story came out in 1995, of course, so it would have been very apt for the time. Um, it seems extremely unlikely Goldust is going to come out carrying the championship belt, doesn't it? I don't think he will, but we'll watch the entrance and see. I mean, I love the pyro effect and the lighting effect, and Goldust has a great theme song, so there's lots of ticks here, but no, there is no European Championship belt. Man, the pyro is kind of cool. I'm into that. I'm into the pyro. That's enough entrances. Okay, and we don't need the pre-match ramble. So I've got 10 minutes here to win the European Championship from Goldust. Um, this is quite fun, but Goldust is one of the very few wrestlers who've interacted with me on Twitter. Back in the day before Twitter was a sort of a hellscape. Um, the I tweeted a few wrestlers in my time, and almost none of them responded. But one of them was the Road Dogg. I wished him congratulations. He tweeted something about how long he'd been sober, and I tweeted my congratulations and said, I'm glad he's doing well, and he responded and thanked me for the kind words. And I told Rowdy Roddy Piper that I thought he was a legend. I think the exact words were something like I was explaining to my girlfriend at the time, now wife, that he was a legend, and he replied and said something. I say something like I don't remember the exact tweet. He said, "You tell that woman that the real legend is the one lying in bed next to her." So yeah, Rowdy Roddy Piper called me a legend. Um, the Goldust one was significantly less positive. He was tweeting a lot about his autobiography, which had just come out at the time, and I made a joke about how much he was promoting it. Um, and he responded and called me a dipshit, which is so nice. That was during the era where he was also kind of going off on one and blocking anyone who didn't believe in Jesus. So I think he was maybe going through some stuff at the time. In fairness, I don't take it too personally, but I do think that altercation is the reason that R-Truth had me blocked on Twitter too, even though I'd never interacted with R-Truth. I'd never tweeted him. I'd never tweeted about him. He blocked me on Twitter too, around the same time that Goldust did. So I assume the two are related. I have absolutely no idea. I can't think of any other reason why R-Truth would have sought me out and blocked me. All I tweeted about was like Power Rangers and Lego and occasionally wrestling. What do you guys think of Goldust as a character? The original run in like 96, 97, he was very campy. They played up the whole gay thing for cheap heat. Kind of played on the fact that everyone in the 90s was pretty homophobic, which definitely problematic by today's standards, but at the time worked a treat. Who am I to question a man trying to make a living? But um, yeah, it was all a bit problematic at the time. What do you guys think? I mean, Dustin Rhodes is a hell of a performer, always was. So try Pile Driver. I'm almost certainly not going to include the clip when I talk about it, just because I think it will definitely get me banned. But there was an episode of Raw where Jerry Lawler, I think it was '97, Jerry Lawler called Goldust the F slur, which I'm sure if you're a woke liberal lefty like me, you'll know exactly which F slur I mean. Um, The Godfather used that once as well, talking about Goldust, which is incredibly uncool. But it was the 90s, brah. You know, it was the 90s. Different times. Worse times, better times in lots of ways, but certainly worse times in terms of attitudes being quite old-fashioned, maybe. I love everyone slash hate everyone, depending on what day of the week it is and how my day at work was.
Kane, these people are blowing the roof off this joint. Mankind, bring it down the house. What a collision! Like running into a brick wall. Goldust.
I was doing quite well. It's hard to tell. Am I doing well in this match? I feel like he's hit a lot of moves, but they don't seem to be doing half as much damage as my moves are doing to him. So I feel like I'm on a pretty good track here. Yeah, he's in red already. I think the game really wants me to be European champion.
Come on, get up.
Do you know what I've not really been able to do much in this game is come off the top rope.
They hooked it up.
You know, I mentioned when I first started this series, like back in like episodes 1 and 2, I mentioned the fact that this game doesn't have the stun meter that Warzone had, so I can't tell how long someone's going to be stunned, and I think that's the reason I'm like scared to go to the top rope.
Look out there.
But also, they do always just seem to be slightly out of position for me to go to the top rope. Like every time I knock them down, they're always miles away from the corner.
Nice athletic move there by Mick Foley. Mick Foley, pressing his advantage now. He's got this match in the bag.
Inside out clothesline. I think I want to win with the Mandible Claw with this being a championship match. But I do want to try and hit something new. I think I've pretty much exhausted my whole move list by this point, haven't I? Which is fine. Like, you know, pile drivers and DDTs are never going to go out of style.
Mankind looks a bit sluggish. Surprise, surprise.
I actually, I've mentioned before, like a few times, that I do my website, Retro Wrestling Reviews, where I watch old shows and kind of write about them and capture all the video packages and so on. And as I'm watching it, I'm just earlier on today watched the 1996 Royal Rumble where Goldust wins the Intercontinental Championship for the first time. So I'm only a couple of months removed from his debut, really. So he's very fresh in my mind, all the early Goldust stuff. These two actually, Mankind and Goldust, in 1996, they were closely associated. They worked together a lot as like fellow heels, mostly feuding with the Undertaker. I didn't mean to pin him there. I meant to pick him up by the head so I could do the mandible claw. However, I basically just accidentally won the European Championship while I was wittering on about stuff in 1996. Never mind. An accidental title win is still a title win. We'll take it. So I'm the European champion. Okay, a cheat has been unlocked. I'll need to check the cheat menu and see what's going on there. Be sure to save option in utilities, so I'll come back and save. And I'm the new European champion. Fantastic. With Mankind's music playing. Great. Okay, so we're having a look at the cheat menu to see what I've unlocked. So I've unlocked Sable and Mark Merrill. I've unlocked the trainer cheat. I don't know what that means. The squeaky cheat, I think, just gives everyone squeaky voices, and then new custom stuff is all in the create a character menu. So nothing particularly fun or exciting yet, but that's pretty cool that I've unlocked those characters. Let's have a look and see where they appear in the menu. Do they just appear at the bottom? Yeah, so there we go. I've unlocked Sable and Mark Merrill, but not Kurgan or Taka Michinoku, who I wrestled earlier on. Maybe I'll get to them in the next championship category.